According to the U.S. Surgeon General, we're living through a loneliness epidemic. 1 in 4 adults say they feel completely isolated, disconnected, alone. But you? You chose to cut people off. You looked at your phone, saw the name light up, and thought, not today, not anymore. And here's the part nobody talks about. You don't feel lonely. You don't feel broken. You've honestly never felt more at peace. So when did it start? When did you become the person who walks away and never looks back? Because you weren't always like this. There was a time when you were the dependable one, the friend who answered at 2 in the morning, the one who kept the peace in the family, the partner who soaked up everyone else's problems like a sponge. You were who people called when their world fell apart, and you picked up every single time. You listened to the same complaints, gave the same advice, watched them ignore it and come right back. Until one day, something shifted. You didn't answer the phone, and the world didn't end. It just got quieter. That moment, that wasn't weakness. Your brain was doing exactly what it was built to do. Psychologists actually have a name for this. Dr. Stephen Porges calls it polyvagal theory. Your nervous system runs in different modes, and one of them exists for one reason only: to protect you. When you've been drained too many times, when people keep taking more than they give, your brain doesn't wait for your permission. It flips a switch. It pulls you out of social mode and into what researchers call the dorsal vagal response. In plain language, shutdown, withdrawal, conservation. Not because something's wrong with you, because your nervous system is guarding your energy like it's a limited resource. Which, by the way, it is. But here's the real question. Where did your nervous system first learn that people were the threat? For a lot of us, the answer goes back further than we'd like to admit. Maybe you learned to read the room before you could read a book, scanning your parents' face the second they walked through the door, learning that one person's mood could change the air in the whole house. Psychologist Murray Bowen had a name for this too: emotional cutoff. It's what happens when a child figures out that closeness comes with a price, that love and unpredictability arrive in the same package. So you adapted. You became the one who could feel the tension before a word was spoken, the one who quietly learned that the safest place was usually alone. And now, as an adult, that same wiring kicks in every time someone gets too close. It's not a flaw. It's a blueprint your younger self drew just to make it through. But this is where it gets complicated, because there's a real difference between protecting yourself and building walls that lock everyone out. So let's be honest, not all cutting off is the same thing. The CDC reports that long-term isolation raises your risk of heart disease by 29%, stroke by 32%. This isn't just emotional, it's physical. But here's what they leave out. Being surrounded by the wrong people can do just as much damage. So how do you tell the difference? Walls block everyone. The good, the bad, the uncertain. They're built out of fear. Boundaries are different. Boundaries are selective. They're built out of self-awareness. If you cut someone off and felt relief, that's information. If you cut someone off and felt peace, that's not isolation. That's protection. The question was never whether you should let people in. It's which people have earned access to your peace. And let's be real, you probably already know exactly who they are. You've been watching them for years. Here's something fascinating about people who cut others off. You don't do it at random. You do it because you've gotten incredibly good at spotting patterns. That friend who only calls when they need something? You clocked it by month 2. That relative whose compliments always come with strings attached? You learned their rhythm a long time ago. That person who love bombs you then vanishes? You saw the whole cycle before it even finished. A 2023 study in Nature Neuroscience found that people who went through early emotional stress developed heightened activity in the brain's threat detection regions. Translation? Your brain got really good at reading people. Researchers at the University of Iowa found that the frontal lobe, the part that handles complex social decisions, works overtime in people with this background. You're not paranoid. You're not too sensitive. You're processing social information at a level most people never even reach. That instinct that tells you something's off? That's not a defect. That's thousands of hours of data refined into an early warning system. And when it tells you this person will drain you, you finally learn to listen. So no, you're not lonely. You're not broken. You're just selective. And there's actually a word for what you're feeling. Society has a word for people like you: isolated, withdrawn, antisocial. But every one of those words assumes something's missing, that you're incomplete without constant connection. Here's a different word: solitude. Loneliness is the absence of a connection you wanted. Solitude is the presence of a peace you chose. You're not sitting there wishing someone would call. You're sitting in your own space, finally able to hear yourself think. Your phone is silent, and that silence feels like relief, not rejection. The people who don't get it will say you're running away from something. But you know the truth. You're not running away. You're running toward something. Toward peace. Toward clarity. Toward a version of yourself that can't survive in chaos. That's not isolation. That's sanctuary. And if you're watching this wondering whether something's wrong with you, I need you to really hear this. There is nothing wrong with you. You're not cold. You're not heartless. You're not incapable of love. You're someone who learned the hard way that not everyone deserves access to your energy. And instead of letting that lesson turn you bitter, you made a choice to protect your peace, to guard your energy, to build a life that feels gentle instead of chaotic. That's not weakness. That's one of the quietly fiercest things a person can do. And if you're wondering where you go from here, it's simpler than you think. Harvard ran a 75-year study on happiness, and it came down to one thing. It's not how many people you have in your life, it's having the right ones. So if your circle is small, but it's full of people who actually see you, you're not doing it wrong. You're doing it right. If this felt like permission you didn't know you needed, you're not alone. Leave a comment. I read every single one. Protect your peace.